Hey guys, hey, welcome. Come on in. Come on into the studio on this Wednesday afternoon. It is lovely here. It is cool and sunny and a gorgeous day. And I'm excited to be out here in the studio. And I'm super excited to be a part of Vintage Wednesday in the Crafty Bunch. I want to thank Heidi with Joyful Artistry by Heidi for hostessing this event every month and giving me a chance to play with all of my vintage stuff, because it's exciting to feel like I can drag it all out. And I love a good old vintage postcard. So I'm super excited about this event and us using postcards in the event. So a special thank you to Heidi. Thank you, my friend, for doing everything that you do for me and for the Crafty Bunch, for hostessing this event, putting it all together, taking such good care of everybody. I appreciate you so very much. So very much, my friend. And today's has been fun. I've enjoyed watching everybody. I did have both babies. Well, all three babies were here for a while this morning. So there wasn't much commenting going on, but I was watching. Speaking of commenting, I can see names coming through on my screen, but I am not seeing. Oh, there's Grace. Hi, Grace. Thank you for saying hi, and it came through. Hey, Heidi, thank you. Okay, I take that all back. I was afraid that we were not going to have comments, and I didn't bring my laptop out here, but it looks like we're going to be okay. Hi, Patsy Ray. How are you, sweet lady? Hi, Amy. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hey, Ann. Good to see you, my dear. Good to see you. So, hey, Gina. How's your day been? If it tells you anything, this is my second pot of coffee. I have a couple, Capri. I have a couple. Hello, Nicole. This is my box of favorite old postcards. And now, I said favorite. Because I have others that I like, but this is a box of my favorites. Hey, Jeanette. And so I just went over to my drawer. I have a big bank of drawers over here. And hello, Lori. Hey, Cheryl M. How are you? And in there, I have all of my kind of stuff sorted. Hi, Peggy. And one of the drawers has this box, this red box of postcards. And so there's a variety of them in here, all different kinds. Some are funny. Some are just, well, that one's funny too. See, I'm not proofreading. I'm just looking. But anyway, these are just some of my favorites. Now, I love an old postcard for a couple of things. Hi, Diane Ham. I love it for the artwork, right? But you see this one, right? There is nothing special going on with this postcard. It's marked for Jellicoe, Tennessee. Do you know anybody in Jellicoe, Tennessee? Now, you can't have it 2 cups a day. Hey, Lisa Wolf. This is the second pot. I just went ahead and made a second pot. That's just going to be, but look at the back of this one. Do you see how incredibly beautiful the postmark, the print is, and the writing? So I love postcards for the fronts and or the backs. So when I sort postcards, when I get some new ones, that is what I do. I go through, hi Donna, and I look at the fronts, the artwork first, and I'm like, ooh, 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 I love it, I love it, I love it. And hi Karen, and then I go through the pile that I don't think I love so much, and I look at the back. And if there's cool handwriting, I'm all in for that. And if there is a cool postmark or a stamp, even just that pretty blue, I like that a lot. Hi, Regina. How are you doing, sweetheart? I've missed you. Maybe I've just missed seeing your name. So anyway, this is my box of treasure. Now, I've already gone through it a little bit. And hi, Lori Payne. And I pulled out this tiny stack of ones that are in consideration for today's project. And so I just went through and picked out some that were beautiful and floral, because that's what I was feeling. And I did not want any in particular that had a certain holiday. Okay, so that's what I went through and picked out, was all these beautiful, the sun's going to come in and get us. I hope it's not too bad for you guys. Hi, Jan. It is a beautiful weather here today. And so I just picked through some of these. Look at this one. I love, love, love when you flip them over and you can see all of the embossing. Can you see that on there? And then I don't like the glittery ones. There are some old postcards that have glitter on the lines, and I'm no fan of those. So this one says, affectionately yours. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. Joyous days be thine. I love these things. You guys, why don't we make these anymore, or why don't we use them anymore? But anyway, these are all up. Look at this one. It's a lighthouse covered in violets. I don't know. Oh, it's also in a different language on the back. I was going to read it to you and see where it was from or what it said, and that's not going to help us. So anyway, I just thought I'd share a few of my favorites. Peace and love be thine. Isn't that pretty? Now, I didn't pull them out. Look at the sweet birds. I love the birds. But I have a few in my collection, and they highlight a certain flower, and then they have the meaning of the flower. Like there's a one with beautiful lilies, and then it says lilies mean peace. And I didn't grab those out of here, but I love those as well. Pansies for thought. Look at that. Yeah. And this one, look at the beautiful pink color on this. It says, lest we forget. And again, you can see that beautiful embossing on there. So that's a little idea of some of the postcards that I have pulled out. Now we're going to set the postcards aside, and I'm going to tell you what we're making. And I want to do a little explaining as we get there. So I go to this giant scrapbook crop every October. I crop, it's 4 days long. Hey, Jenny, I teach classes there. Hey, Christy, and it's a big one. It's almost 500 croppers, 500 ladies sitting around cropping. Hey, Sharon, for 4 solid days. It is the funnest thing in the whole world. And I love going. And I love teaching. Jenny, they were a handful today, girl. They were all 3 here, and we were hopping. Jenna was here. I was here. We were both hopping. 3 babies had us go into town today. But they set out tables, and if you have something you don't want anymore, you put it on the table, and people pick it up. And the first year, I didn't know anything about that, and so I packed all my own projects. And you know the challenge of a junk journaler. You want to create on the fly. So I learned, hey, Debbie Hudson, to not take projects. So every year since, I just take a toolbox of tools and I make myself create off the table. Last October, all that length ago, somebody had put on that table all of their Cricut cartridge boxes. The cartridges were not in them, and that's fine. I didn't want them. But these really nice little boxes were in there. They have good magnet closures, and they open like this. So I picked up about 10 of them. There were like 50 of them. This person had a collection. And one of the things that I did during that crop, with just things I found on the table, right? Because I didn't have anything with me, was I made 2 covered box journals. Okay, so this is one of the ones. The other one's here somewhere. It's amazing I found this one. And so I covered it with some paper that I found. I did some stamping. Like I said, very limited on my supplies because I make myself create at the crop. And then I unhinged it here and I mounted journals in there. Okay. And all these months, this has been on my shelf. These have been crammed in my drawer. And today's the day. Today's the day. So I showed you all that because I pre-prepped the box because my idea was going to take a little while to get it done. So I chose, I love this postcard. It's going over here. But this is the postcard I chose for today to use to highlight in my project. And I'll tell you why. Personal story, too much information, you pick. But this is the season of the year where both of my parents passed away. Nowhere near close each other in years, But my mom passed away the week after Mother's Day, just a couple of days after Mother's Day. And my dad passed away. And when we came home after his funeral, it was Memorial Day weekend. I don't even remember the exact dates anymore, but I remember it without remembering it, if you know what I mean. So I struggle with being a little bit blue during this particular couple of weeks of the year. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, that's why, right? I remember. And I loved the picture's okay, but I love the little poem and it touched my heart. So that's what we're going to use. It says, oh, may your days a joy feast spread with undimmed sunshine overhead. And as the night convenes the day, may sorrow lead to joy alway. And I thought that's what I need to see and remember. So what have I done here? Well, this box, when I took it out of the drawer, it had come apart. So that was serendipity. I took it apart. And I wanted to build a frame in my box this time, which meant I had to think. All right. And so when we're done, we're going to put this box back together like this, right? But for now, and for our purposes, I used my X-Acto knife box cutter and I cut a frame out of the box. I covered the back with my favorite old wallpaper because these are my colors, right? And then on the front, I just used some brown paper bag because we are going to fix that up. We're going to fix this part up. So we got a lot to do today, but this is the plan. We're going to get this postcard behind the frame here, right? We're going to put it back here so that it's framed in our window. Then I've got a beautiful pile of textiles over here in all the matching colors. And we're going to make a beautiful top to our box around the frame. I have my old millinery flowers pulled out. I've got several ideas of what we might do to decorate the front of our box. That's where we're going to start. And then while this is all setting up and drying, we're going to make a postcard journal in here that's going to fit in here. So it's not going to be mounted in the box like that. It's going to fit in there. And we're going to use an accordion style binding because I don't like to cover up the backs of my postcards if they're pretty. Now, is that a little bit ambitious? Yeah. So prep work done. Let's see what we can do. So we're going with these whole color schemes. Like I said, these are my colors, right? Hi, Daryl. Isn't it? I love these boxes. And of course, I had to play with them. I love any kind of a container. I definitely have an issue. Yeah, Capri, let me see if I can show you without knocking you over. I may not be able to. This is my thimble rack. And then hanging here next to me, I have a whole wall of magnets that holds all kinds of dingly dangly things. And so every time I get in my shelves, you can hear me dingling and dangling, so to speak. So we have the magnet closure. We're going to play. We're going to play. This goes in last because I don't want to mess it up. So it's going to sit there. And let's see what we can do around here. Hi, Phyllis. How are you today? I don't know. Maybe we'll just talk about it and I will run out of inspiration to actually do it, but we'll find out. Okay, let's get this beautiful pile of textile-y stuff over here. All right, let's bring it back into the center. And first of all, anybody have those? Do any of you in your collection of stuff have those Cricut cartridge boxes? I never had a Cricut that used those kind of cartridges, but that is happy to me. Okay, I love this beautiful linen hanky with the trim. I love it. I love it so much. I should put it away to use in a fancy kit or something, but we're not. We're going to tear, and I'm going to try to get as much of the trim off in one piece as I can. Hi, Gloria. Hey, Deborah. How are you guys doing? How are you? Let's see if it'll rip down through there. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to dismember a bunch of these textiles so that when we get to putting things together, we can just kind of go. I do a little bit better. Thank you, Diane. Girl, I saw you got some stuff from your order. I haven't gotten mine yet. All right, here we go. But it's coming any day. I keep warning my family. It's going to be all that. You still have all your Cricut boxes? I never had a Cricut when it was the cartridges that came in those boxes. But, yeah, I also think they would be the perfect size for little memento boxes. You know, just cover the outside and make them cute. And then you've got a nice magnet closure for just a memento box. Or you remember when we did the Give It to Jesus box way back then? I'm looking because it always sits right here on my desk. And it's a box I decorated, and inside that box are cards. And when there are things that I just have to give to God because I can't carry them anymore, I write them on one of those cards and I put it in the Give It to Jesus box. And that means I quit worrying about it. And there are a few things in there, right? These little boxes would make the perfect Give It to Jesus boxes. Okay, we've got that. We've got some of that. We're going to get some little, now we'll wind up cutting and tearing this all again. But this giant pile is a little overwhelming to me. So getting it kind of whacked down, as they say, into more manageable chunks just helps me see it better of what I might actually squeeze into this project. And it lets me look at it again and decide what we're going to do. I grabbed, this color is a little bit different, but I just love these appliques, and I thought maybe a little different color might work. So I grabbed a little bit of that. This is a piece of an old quilt top, and the colors go. This is a paper towel. We're not going to be using it. Gloria, I'm feeling a little better today. I hate to say that too loud because up until today, things have been very difficult. But today I have been noticeably in less pain and more functional. So I'm trying to remember that and not get too carried away with my day because, you know, you get feeling better after you haven't felt well and you just want to go crazy and do everything you haven't been able to do. Hey, Becky. And I don't want to do that. Okay, there is this blue, right? And we got to love some blue, and we're just going to whack a chunk out of it. All of these bigger pieces will be sitting over here next to me, of course. But now I have this, which is much more manageable to my poor mind than the entire pile. And I want to get a little bit of this collection out because I want a little bit of this color. So we're going to grab this little piece. Thank you, Becky. How are you doing, my sweet friend? I think about you often, often, often. Oh, we're going to grab this little bit of eyelet. Okay. And a little bit of this. And I'm grabbing this because it's thinner. All right. And this is what we're going to work with here and see what we can do with that box lid. Isn't it, Capri? It's like you feel a little bit better after feeling bad, and then you get yourself in all kinds of trouble because you feel a little bit better, and you think you should do all the things you haven't been able to do. I injured myself. It's been over 2.5 weeks now, and it has been most difficult to get any kind of recovery going. Okay. All right. Now, do you see what I mean? That giant pile of bigger pieces was very overwhelming to my mind. Yes, Becky, every day, right, girl? Every day. You put in a day, you're like, that's one day closer. One day closer. You took two. Oh, I love that, Cheryl. Okay, so this is what we have. Now, where did I do with my box cover? Here it is. Now, I have my Fabri-Tac, and I also have my hot glue going just for get her done-ish. You know what I mean? Okay, now this does have the magnet closure, but you know how that goes, right? I'm probably not going to be able to magnet close it when I'm done. So this strip was already perfectly prepared, I think, to be our closure. Okay, I want to be a little bit smart about it. And where do I want it to cross over the window Sorry about that. I just covered it up for you for my postcard. But I do want to get that glued down first. So this is an idea of where my postcard's going to sit. So I want to place this where it kind of comes between the picture and the words. So we're going to put it down right here. Hang on, we're going to stretch, and I can only stretch with one arm. Still can't stretch with the other arm. And I'm going to use a new bottle of Fabri-Tac because, so sorry, Karen, my Fabri-Tac bottle, you know, you get down to the last 15% of your bottle and it turns to sludge and it takes forever to get it up through the bottle, even if you have a good bottle. All right, so let's lay this down. Yep, that will please me. Whew, it stinks too. It stinks. I don't think I can run it. Ew, and it's oozing. I can't run it underneath the postcard because the postcard's going to go behind the window. If the postcard was going to go on top, then yes, I would have put it underneath. But I think it'll add to it. I just wanted to be able to see it. So we're going to wrap that around. All right. Now, this little edge here has the border between my wallpaper and my brown paper. So I know I want to make sure I start with something that overflows that. Okay, so let's see. Now we just have to start figuring it out. And that's the fun part. That's the fun part. Okay, so we could run this piece of our trim all the way up here, around there, and that bridges our thing. It'll stand out on the side when it runs. Okay, so let's look at that. Where is that? See, even with this tiny pile, I'm like, okay, I put a little piece of that eyelet in there. Where did it go? Already I'm losing it. So imagine how much I would lose in the other plan, right? With it all there. Okay. I'm really thinking in the majority of my decorating is really going to focus on this teeny tiny edge here that when we close the box, it kind of sticks off the side. You see that? When we mount this here, it's going to stick off the edge of the box. Hi, Debbie. How's your day? How's your day? So we're not going to think about it too much. We're going to just put it on and let it happen. That's what we're going to do. Right? And I'm going to try not to use half a bottle of Fabri-Tac every time I go down there because now, of course, it's going to be very generous. Okay, so we're going to take our eyelet and we're going to mount it right in there, up the edges. And then I want this, and I want it on the top of that. And I'm not going to trim it off until I get it on there. Oh, thank you, Heidi. It's just been horrible. Horrible. I've had a couple of decent injuries in the years since I had my leg surgery. And this one has been as bad as any. Whew. As any. Lesson is, if you're an older lady who's not as sure-footed as you once were, be very careful that you check where the chairs are. Yeah, because falling in the floor can be a little bit tedious in the recovery zone. Okay, let's get these in place where I like them. Okay, so this is already just our 2 layers. This will pop up, and then this will be our lid, right? And then our closure is just very lightly going to come around here. We're not worried about that at all. Hey, Rusty, how are you? Good evening. Okay, I know we're going to put some little stringy stuff to cover that little barrier. This little cord was in that bundle there. And it's all stuck. Wow, it's like one giant long piece. There you go. So I think we could use this. Me too, Becky. I'm so careful. And it was just the dumbest mistake. It made me so mad. It takes forever to heal, Capri. Forever. Okay. All right, let's refocus a little bit. We've got this tiny bit of little trim there. Oh, it's just about right. And that is about the perfect little piece to just bridge that little gap. So that may be it. I'm not gluing that down though, because I'm not totally sold on it. Okay, I was thinking I would want to do like I want to say book plate, whether that's what it is or not, that comes across here. And then I definitely want a decoration in this corner, okay? I am terrified of our stairs. Terrified of our stairs. Okay, so here we've got a little bit of our cheesecloth. It gives us a really great, hey, Sherry Campbell, neutral background. Always a great start, right? Get something kind of neutral down. And I love how this cheesecloth just does what you want it to. It just bunches. It just bunches. All right, so we're gonna audition. All right, so this would be where we would put our word or our book plate. Now, I've been playing with a project idea that I have not been able to figure out and get done. And it's this. This is a hollow handled knife that a sweet friend's husband cut off for me. And I would love to make it into a vase. A vase, doesn't that sound fancy? Here would be perfect. I think here would be just perfect for that. And then we would take some of our millinery flowers. I already pulled out this bundle of the greeny blues and the pinky greens. Hey, Vonna, how are you? And I have a few of these darker blues, okay? And they kind of go in the color scheme. And I would love to try to make a vase. Whether I can pull that off or not, I truly don't know. But this is an option of what we're looking at here, okay? The other idea is that we, build a little textile chunk. And we may build the textile chunk and then see if we can stick this on there. Okay, I really want to get a little bit of this print in here somewhere. Somewhere. You know how that goes. I want it in there somewhere. Where are we going to put it? Let's see. Rip and tear. Rip and tear. Okay, so we can do our bunch and scrunch up here at the top and make our little, oh, I like that up there. I do like that. See if we can just get it to kind of sit there until we decide. And then we need some blue for sure, because we've got pink with a hint of blue here, but we have this pink, we're going to call it pink. It's not exactly pink, but we're calling it pink there. And then we go here. So I think down here, I probably need to refocus and get something more blue in here. So let's get a little piece of this doily. We'll see what half of that doily does down there, just bunched up down there. And then we could come, if we did that, oops, we try to get it to stay in place. Then that would give us something to kind of mount that vase on, and we would get all of those flowers kind of going out everywhere. Is that something we should try? Somebody tell me. Be like, Cheryl, I don't know. That may be too, that may not work. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right. It may not. Okay. And then I really want to take just some of this string, because I love the color of it, and make like a little puddle. So I'm just taking, it's string. It's not really thread. And I'm just going to kind of wad it up, roll it up like you would Play-Doh, and kind of get it relaxed here. And I think we'll do that there with the hope that if we get that vase to make, it will just give us a tiny little background there. Okay, let's get all of this glued down so that while I fuss with the floral arranging, the teeny tiny floral arranging, this stuff can all be drying. All right, so we're just gonna squiggle. Okay, smush. And then we're coming right over that with another layer of our glue, because this is going to need a minute. And then because this is half a doily, I'm going to kind of bunch it so that it sits the way I want it. Be a perfect place for a button. If we were, oh, thank you, Lori. All of you guys are like, yeah, you guys do it. You do it, Cheryl, so we don't have to. Is that what you're thinking? Oh, it's stuck to me, look. It's like trying to shake off a spider web. Okay, I had a thought. I've got this other little piece of this trim that's over here, and I'm wondering if I want to try to tuck it in. Yes, I do. Okay, hold please. One more layer. Hey, Kendra. Good to see ya. Thank you guys for hanging out this afternoon. I'm so glad to see you. If you're a member of the Pearls, that's my special group. We are on for this evening. All right, this event will be done, and we will be hanging out this evening. All right, and I'm just going to kind of stretch this out so that it makes a little, just a little thingy. Oops, that's going at the top. Okay, so this is what's going to meet us down here at the bottom. Okay, and now we're going to come up here and put what would be the mounting for our word at the top. Okay, so we've got another piece of our cheesecloth, and we're just going to kind of run a nice squiggle of our Fabri-Tac, and we just lay that in there. And the only thing I didn't do that I may regret here is that, me too, Becky, I always laugh because I give myself a layer count. I'm kind of a 3 or 4 layer girl. That's where I lay. I kind of wish I could up that. I wish I was a 6 or 7 layer girl. But after about 4 layers, I feel like I'm just covering everything up and I get frozen. And I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Okay, and then we want this little piece of fabric scrunched on top of there. So we're going to do that. I'm going to put my glue on the back of this fabric so that hopefully I can squish it and it'll all have glue. So I just ran a bead of glue, and I'm just going to touch an end. I'm going to touch an end, and I'm just going to kind of smush it in so that it looks random. Word, and we may do buttons. I don't have a particular word pulled out, so we'll see. It'll have to have a little something, right? It'll have to have a little something. A little bit. Okay, pardon me, I got to smash that, okay? That's the final step when you're doing that smushy placement. I have to get it in place, and then I got to smash it down. So we have this corner, we have this, and then we have this edge, and we need one more little thing right here. And give me just a second, because I think what I want is in a drawer over here. I either want some pearls or some bling. I think these pearls are a little bit small, and they're the only ones here. I could do 2 rows of adhesive pearls down here, or I could do a row of this incredible rhinestone trim. That one's missing a couple of stones. I don't treat it very gently. What do you guys think? Bling or pearls? I'm leaning pearls, I gotta tell you. I'm leaning pearls. Which is a shame. I got so much pretty bling over here. Let's see. I also have this smaller bling. We're going pearls. All right, I want 2 rows. So these are not vintage, nor are they expensive, but I love them anyway. I love vintage things, but I'm not a snob. I'll use anything. I will use anything. All right, we're just going to run these right along, and that's going to finish off our little divider. Let's see. Yep. I think we need this, and we need this. Let's see, put it back in there. Carol, oh good, I'm so glad you guys are saying pearls after I totally ignored you and just went right ahead. Okay, I'm gonna snug this one up to this one. And yeah, I like that. That gives it a nice, that gives it a much nicer little finish there. Oh, hello. In there. Okay, so this is basically what's going to be the top of our box. Now, let's see what we can do with this. This needs to set up a while. Let that Fabri-Tac settle in. So we'll set it over here. Let's see what, if anything, I can do with this. All right. So my thought with these has been, well, many thoughts, none of them ever settled really well, is I need a little tiny more bit. I think the cheesecloth, I think it's going to be the trick to getting the whole thing to hold together. I don't know if that's right or not. We're going to think maybe it is. We just need a little bit of it. Okay. And I'm going to put the lid back on my Fabri-Tac because I think I'll switch to hot glue because that's what I would use in any kind of floral arranging, right? Okay. All right, so this I'm going to double up like this and poke down in my knife handle. Now, I have wanted to do crafting with hollow knife handles for a long time. And so I had been collecting them, right? I did what I do. I started picking them up. And when I would find big knife handles like this, I would buy them, only to find out that most of them are not hollow. Most of them are filled with what looks like concrete and will not saw apart as easy. So if you decide that you would like to try this and you want to buy some knife handles, be sure that you check the weight of them, okay? You can kind of tell by tapping them that they sound hollow. I have one here. I think this one's hollow, but I'm not sure. Do you hear that? It's really hard to tell. And if they are filled with the concrete, there's not a daggum thing you can do with them, except get really frustrated. Okay, I had one more color bundle pulled out. Where'd I put it? I need my babysitter. Here it is. Yes, so a friend of mine, her husband agreed to use his power tools to cut the handles off for me. And when he went to cut them, it just made a hot, stinky, smoky mess because they were not hollow. And literally it looked like concrete in there. It was like concrete. And he got through a couple of them. So of about the 25 knife handles that I had, 2 of them were hollow for real. So there must be certain manufacturers that are really hollow and the rest of them are not. And I did not know that, obviously. So I haven't tried again. If they are hollow, you can cut them with a Dremel if you have a Dremel. Rebecca, I have bought these a long time ago in a huge bundle. I actually have sets of millinery flowers behind me packed up for sale. So the first week of June in the first Friday sale in the Crafty Bunch, if you would like some millinery flowers, I have some of these fabulous violets and some of these and some of the beautiful pink ones that I just got last weekend, and they'll be in little bundle kits. But I've had these for a long time, and I love them, and I use them a lot. Okay, now, I don't know how to let you guys see a thing that I'm doing here, so we will just chat while I poke flowers in here and see what happens. I'm not a floral designer, although I did my kids' wedding flowers, so maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit, but I'm just imagining, and I do have one other kind of flower in there that I can fill up with if these don't seem to be full enough. So I'm just taking them, and I think the 5 bundles, maybe 5, is going to be beautiful. Let's get this pink down in here front and center. Ooh, look at how pretty that's looking. I'm not feeling bad about that. Okay, which blue do I want? I want the light blue one. And I may not even have to glue these in. They may hold. I may have got it stuffed full enough that they're going to stay put. I don't know. Okay. Okay. And then these are great because they're on kind of a wire stem. And so once you get them kind of where you want them to go, you have, oh, that was a bird just flew into my window. You can kind of move them wherever you want them to sit. So we can kind of bend them down like that and kind of get them shaped. Now let me see here. Got a twist, which isn't my happy place yet. I do have a few of these. Aren't these gorgeous? They're like tulips. I don't know. And they're yellow. So I love that we could bring in some yellow. But I was thinking a couple of these coming out of the top. And then there's this little leaf goes with that. Let's see if we like that. All right, so I'm gonna take 2 flowers and I'm gonna place the leaf kind of behind them, kind of like that. And I'm gonna twist them together and then I'm gonna cut it off in one chunk. And let's see if we want something tall coming out of the back. If I was doing this in my house, I would, right? You would want some height in the back. I'm realizing now I probably didn't need that cheesecloth, but it's holding. So there we go. Oh, I like that. Just added that little bit of height in there. Hey, Sherry, how are you? So there we are. It is tiny and cute. Now, I think because this is kind of tall, we may need to add just a little bit of a bow on the front. Okay, so here's our front, and our vase is going to mount right down here. Oop. Don't pull on them too hard. Oh my goodness, Judy, we had impressive storms the other night. We sure did. How about you? Judy lives close to me here in the Kansas City area. We had like 70-mile-an-hour winds. It was wild. You made one into a pin, Kelly. That was my other thought with this, with these knife things, is that they would make super cute pins. Okay, now I know to put this down and to get it to stay, we're going to need the 1000 glue, whether you use B or C or D or E or F, you know, the 1000 glues. Hi, Tammy. So I'm going to take my B7000 and I'm going to put it back here and then hot glue. And that's the 2-step gluing method that holds something in place while it can dry. Hey, Jen, how was your day, sweetie? Hope you had a good day. School year, you guys done this week? We are done here in Lee Summit Friday, half a day Friday. Okay. These little precision tips are great, but they do plug up, and I can't always get anything in there to make it any different. So if I can't, I'll have to get my bigger tube, which I think is over here. Once you get it going, it's great. But this one may be more than I got in me today. Doesn't take a lot. A couple of good dots of it would stick it, I think. So we'll see if we can get her done. All right, there's a couple of big blobs of it. You were done yesterday. And then I'm going to put a decent amount of hot glue right in the middle. And like I said, the hot glue is going to hold it down while the B7000 holds it forever. Oh, you got Cooper graduated. My daughter Merritt finished 8th grade this year, so they had a little ceremony last night. Okay, 1 second while I hold this down. Ooh, I think that's cute. I think that's very cute. Ooh. There it goes, back in there. All right. And so there is our metal vase. And here is our outer box. Before we get too far removed here, let's put our postcard in because we definitely want to see that. All right. I love the back of the postcards. I don't know if I'll cover the whole thing or not. And because it's handy, I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac because it's sitting here. Okay. And we're going to try to use just a tiny bit around the edges. We do have some room to groove here because I cut the hole. So you know it's not exact if I cut the hole, right? So So we're just going to put a little line of glue all the way around the 4 edges of our postcard. And then we're going to tuck it behind our window and hope that everything we put in there lines up okay. I didn't try. I didn't fit it before. Okay, so let's set it in there. You get just a minute with your Fabri-Tac so I can turn it around. Ooh, my bottom one down here is covering up my poem a little bit. So I'm gonna adjust. That's not bad. And I'm probably going to, once I get this to glue down good, hold on a minute, we gotta hold it, okay? Because Fabri-Tac takes a second. So there's our postcard in there. And then I want to tuck this little blue thing back. So I'm just gonna pull it back and put another little dot of glue under it, all right? But I don't want to push my postcard out to do that. So do that, but it's very close to fitting. I don't think I can move it that way any. Thankfully, like I said, with Fabri-Tac, you got a few seconds. You don't have all day, but you got a little time. There we go. That's better. Scoot it that way. Hey, Susie, how are you? All right, now we can clear our words. Okay, just like that. That makes me happier. Now our little poem is readable and visible. Here's our little vase of flowers. So this is, okay, be something. Okay, oh, 44. We're doing pretty good because putting our little book together, I don't think will be too bad. Okay, and then this is where our little string will come right across there, kind of between our picture and our poem and right underneath our flowers. So I think it's gonna work. I'm gonna set that over here. Now, this is my idea for the little journal. So here's the box that fits in there where it all came apart. And then what I did was, it might, Kimberly, we'll see when we get to the final tie it up phase. All right, let me sort out my stuff here. Get the flowers in the flower basket. My textile bits back over here in the textile tile, and then grab my postcards here. Pull those back into view for you. Okay, I dug a hole. Always digging a hole to work in. Ooh, we also had this pretty purple applique, but we didn't wind up using it. It goes right there in that pile. See, there's a whole 2 other projects over there with all the fabrics that we tore up just for that. Okay, so what I did is I took a piece of, this is heavyweight scrapbook paper. It's not quite cardstock. I cut it the width of my postcards. Okay, you see that? It's the same width as the postcards. I put it in my scoreboard, and starting at 1 inch, I scored every 1/2 inch all the way down, and till I had 6 peaks. All right, so 6 pages. And then I left 1 inch at the other end. That way we can mount a cover. All right, so what I want to do, because I want these to be flat, is I have my tiny stapler. You guys have one of these? It's the funnest little thing ever. And I'm going to take each one of my peaks and I'm going to just staple it shut so that it stays flat. Okay, I don't want an accordion. Like, I don't want it to spread like this. I want it to hold my pages in. So I'm going to take my little stapler, and I'm just gonna, every one of my peaks, I'm gonna smash a couple of staples in each one. Okay, and then 2 more sets, and 2 more sets. All right, and now this is what we have. All right, so now we have something that'll kind of stay in the shape we want it. All right, and then this holds our pages, because remember I told you I like to see my postcards both ways. This way, if one of the pretty postcards we decide to use as a page has pretty writing, we don't have to cover it. This can just be the back. Okay, all right, so let's see. Let's just pick a few. Absolutely love this one. I know we need 6, and beyond that, we may need a few more. So let's just pick out 6. 6 beautiful postcards. Love that one. I love all of these. Who are we kidding? Look at the pretty daisies. That one's kind of different. It is postmarked 1908, you guys. The penny postcard era. I love the affectionately yours, and it doesn't have any writing on the back, which I kind of like for these projects. Okay. Now we've pared down again. Let's see how we did. Let's see how we did. Okay. All right. So this is going to be our spine, and each of these little things is where we're going to mount a page. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a decision, and we're just going to glue the postcards onto the flap, okay? And then we can see the back if it is written on, and if it's not, we can either use it as a journaling spot or whatever we want to. Hey, Tammy, how are you? How are you? All right, I wish I had grabbed my paper glue. Let's see if it's right here close by. Yeah, only because it sets up faster than the Fabri-Tac, and that will let me in there. I got so tickled, you guys, when I was watching Celeste just before me. I was watching her, and you remember what she used on her project today? She used Anna Griffin card kits that she got from Christy Sloan, right? Well, guess what I pulled out to make my covers for my little accordion journal? This, which is an Anna Griffin card base that I got from who? Christy Sloan in a sale. So this is going to be our covers, but I want to get the postcards on so that you can kind of see where we're headed here. Kind of see, right? I'm just lining them in there one at a time. I'm trying to think which way they're oriented. Not that it'll matter. You can look at your book any way you want to. And so we're just opening up each flap, gluing down, and then placing, oh, so pretty, our card in there and laying it down. Open up the next one, put our glue in, pick our card, Peace and Love Be Thine. That one's got a little nick in the corner. I love that even better. Gosh, I just love them. All right, I'm going to take a minute and make sure that I'm staying kind of straight because my cards need to line up. Sorry, I missed a question. Yes, they do, Capri. Okay, so this is what it will look like. It will be mounted in there, and it will be, oops, a book of pretty postcards if I get them glued in there well enough. You know, it needs a minute to think about it, and I'm not giving it a minute to think about it. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to lay them in here, and then really what it needs is it needs a good clamping and, you know, some time. All right, now we're going to go this direction with this one. I love this one. It says, Hearty Greetings. Hearty Greetings. It's a Pirates postcard. Hearty Greetings. All right. Line them up. Man, that's being really stubborn. I think it's this, the cardstock that I used for the accordion. I don't think it wants to stick as well as I would like it to, or as quickly. It needs a little opportunity. It's about to get it. It's about to get some opportunity here. Okay, and then I want this one on top. So let's put this, oh, it's a little thinner. That works. Okay, press that down. All right, I hope you guys aren't in there telling me I made a mistake that I'm not going to figure out in time. Hope I didn't. Hope I didn't. Okay, and then this is going to be our front because I just absolutely love this one. Okay, so it goes this way according to the writing on the back. All right. So we're just gluing up each one. Now you can do this kind of a spine with any kind of a journal, but it's a great way to display pretty little things like this. Sentimental cards from holidays or anything like that. This is a great way that you can mount them and enjoy them and display them. Okay, so I'm just getting it all kind of straight in here. And then this is what we have. Okay, it's still fighting me, so I'm gonna have to clip it, right? But this is what it's gonna be, and each page will open. It says this back one is upside down by the writing, because I didn't think to look. And it'll be the only one that's really stuck, right? Well, I liked it this way, so I'm keeping it that way. Okay, hang on a second. Let's grab a couple of clips down here. All right. And I'm just going to take my whole stack of postcards and spine and glue and everything and just clamp them so that they have some time for the glue to set up. Okay. Let's see if we can get that one clamped. Okay. Now this needs to sit, but I think we can get our cover prepared. I may not get it put on there, but we can get it prepared, I think. I think. Okay, for my cover on these, what I like to do is I really like to leave it, so this card is perfect because I want to cover both sides of my little spine here. And so this card, because it's a little bit bigger, I can just wrap it around and have it. So we need to trim it just a little bit. Not too much at all. Let me find a pin. Pardon my old lady arm view that you got there. So I'm just going to make a pin mark. That's all we have to cut off of it, is that long. Grab my paper trimmer, which is right here. And find my mark. And we're going to cut that off. Line it up. Get it a little bit flat on my desk. Might help. Might help. Okay. All right. And then I want it to fit in this box, okay, for length. So I'm going to measure it and mark it. And then I'm going to go a little bit short of that mark, okay, so that it fits inside the box. Okay. So if I'm lucky, this will mount onto here. Yes, right down there. We will glue the whole thing together, and then we're going to have a finished inside and outside piece. All right, so let's cut the other one to match. We've got, these are just the prettiest cards. Aren't they just gorgeous? So let's take this one. All right. And we know we wanted to trim on the folded edge just a little bit. And then I'm using the piece I cut off to measure. Ooh, Capri, I think you're right. I think we could use the offcut for the book plate. Perfect. Of course, you know I'm not going to get to that either. Hey, Della, how are you, hon? I'm glad to see you, no matter when you get here. Okay, and then this will be our back cover. Okay. Now we're racing. We got 4 minutes. 4 minutes. I don't know that I want to glue these on at the moment because I really feel like this needs to set up really well. And maybe I do. Maybe I just want to glue them on and let them set up and set up and set up. Maybe I do. All right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to glue all of this together. It's going to make a nice sturdy cover. All right. And we're going to especially glue here. And then we're going to come on this side just here because this is where our thing is. That thing. Call it whatever you want to. Okay. Move my clips down just a hair, so that we can get in here. And then we're just going to wrap this around. And line it up. It oozed on me, you guys. I don't like oozy gloozies. Look how pretty that's going to be for the cover. Isn't that? I think that's pretty. All right, let's flip the back around and let's do the same thing. Now this one, the top was there, the top is here. The glue on both sides goes here. And then we're just gonna, ooh, it probably wouldn't drip on me if I keep it on the card. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna stand it up here. We're gonna fold our piece up. We're gonna stick that in there and seal it all together. Okay, chase all of our glue oozies. All right, let's see if it'll hold together well enough to show you. Oh, I think it will. So look at what we have. I think it's pretty either direction too. We have options, right? So this is how your spine looks. We can cover it with some lace, but you don't have to. It's not going to expand because we staple them together. And then we have our little postcard book here. I think they're held in there good enough that we can enjoy them. And then this goes in here. It did, it went in there. And then we have our beautiful box cover here. Da-da-da. Ooh, yuck, nasty glue oozies. Let's get that wiped off. Put the lid on it. So hopefully it doesn't ooze anymore. I'm gonna use hot glue for this part because we can. And we're going to glue our box back in. Okay, it sets right in there. Now we gotta line everything up, so 1 minute. Oh, I set it in there backwards. 1 more minute. Oh wow, it's going in backwards. No, that's terrible. You guys, I put it in backwards. You see the notch? That means my magnet closure is over here. So I'm glad we put the tie on. All right, guys, we're not quite done for the day. You guys hang around in the Crafty Bunch and hang out with my friends. And here is our finished project. Not quite finished, but I'll get it done. Thank you, Heidi. I'll see you guys later. Pearls, I'll see you later this evening. Bye, guys.